So, Harry, tell me about your most memorable road trip experience.
Okay, most memorable road trip experience. Technically not on a road,
Okay.
train.
On a train? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I'd say my most memorable one that comes to mind that is podcast appropriate
Sure, okay.
would probably be a pretty horrible time I had travelling through Paris. I had been travelling for 17 hours on the train already.
Ouch. Okay.
It was a rough day.
Between which two destinations?
Between Lake Bled in Slovenia
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
and coming back here to Leeds.
Uh-huh.
And it was 40 degrees centigrade, which is hot.
That is very hot.
very
On the
hot.
train or in Slovenia?
Well, I was in France by this point. But
Okay.
yeah, so coming into Paris, that was the outdoor temperature. And my train was delayed by 2 hours. I had 12 minutes to get from Paris East to Paris North, where my Eurostar direct to London was departing. 12 minutes to do that, including passport checks and bag checks.
Oh, dear.
It was rough. I definitely didn't think that I was going to be able to do it. But I pulled out all the stops. I tightened all my straps, tightened my sandals. Tightened the straps of my 80-litre rucksack that I was carrying on my back.
Oh, dear.
And the minute the train stopped, I'd already walked to the very front of the train. And the minute the train stopped, I sprinted out. I practiced the route and memorized the route using Google Maps and Google Street View, so I knew exactly where I was going. And I had to run upstairs, and it was like some outdoor steps, and it was horrible. I don't know if you've been to Paris very much, but especially in that area, there is a lot of homelessness, and suddenly when it's 40-degree temperatures, you really smell it.
Oh, dear.
It was pretty rough. And there was the most difficult run I've ever done, that's for certain.
Sure.
Running through the station was pretty tough too. I was the only person in the queue for anything.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they just like flagged me right through, just like waved a British passport at them, and they're like, "Yeah, you're fine, you're fine."
Oh, that's good.
It just sort of threw me through. There was signs that said no running. I was like, well, that's not helping anybody. There's a train going to leave, and I'm going to be stuck here just like in nothingness.
So did you make your train?
I made my train with about 30 seconds to spare, which
Impressive.
I've done many times, but an international train is something else.
Had you missed it, like how late would you have been?
It would have been a different day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would need to spend hundreds on new tickets.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah, it would have been a rough time.
Cool.
But that was that. That was fun.
Okay, I'm quite impressed with you for that story.
I was impressed.
Yeah,
I did not know I had that fitness in me.
I was going to say I've never seen you run, so that was a revelation.
I can run.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, bitch.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are picturing prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to Crossroads, the final in our pop stars turned actors film
Mini-series.
festival.
Yeah, festival
That's
series.
why okay, anyway, that went wrong. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on our Facebook and Twitter timelines. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch you up with a bit of a plot summary. I am Harry, the host with the most fabulous singing voice.
Okay.
And joining me as always, the host with the happy birthday
Aww.
to you. Happy birthday.
Wait, I think this song is copyrighted.
To you.
I'm pretty sure that song is copyrighted. I don't think we can do this.
Happy birthday, dear
I
John.
mean, I'm loving this, but I'm just really worried about the copyright.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, well, I'm very touched, but also I might edit that out in case we get charged. So we'll see.
I doubt we would.
Okay, fine.
Well, you're talking all over it. How the computer going to find it? You were talking all over
All right,
it.
well, I'll put it out there and we'll see what happens.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
don't-
have a
don't
very
do
happy
this.
birthday. Listeners, today is John's birthday day of
Thank you.
recording.
It is.
So do feel free to write in and wish me happy.
A belated.
happy
I mean, it'll be a
returns.
week. I'll be a week
Yeah.
into it by the time this comes out. But sure, yeah. No, it's been a thrilling day. You know,
Yeah.
Lockdown birthdays are the best. You know, there's so much you can do. You know, it's like
Yeah.
social whirlwind. But thank you, though. It's been nice.
Good. Well, enjoyed
And
being...
this film was a great birthday gift, I think, that I gave to myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a Patreon pick, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So this came from our Patreon, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's been listening to the series, and she commented that she felt like no pop star to movie star miniseries could be complete without a look at Britney bitch and Crossroads, her theatrical debut, and I believe her only acting credit to date.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think she made any other movies after this, which may or may not surprise you based on how you feel like she was in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a really good time with this. And it wasn't, I was expecting this to be like a really bad film. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, Britney Spears acting in a film. What kind of shit am I in for today?
Sure.
But this was all right. I wouldn't say that this was a bad film. It's got its moments of like, it makes some choices.
and how? Yeah.
But like, this is nowhere near the bad film that I was expecting.
No, I would agree. This film is wild.
Yeah.
So, first of all, the first thing I noticed...
So I'm just remembering bits of it.
I know, yeah. Well, two things I noticed early on. First of all, I mean, even before the film starts, we get the production credits, and this film is the production companies. There's two. One of them is MTV,
Yeah.
and the other one is Zomba Films.
Never heard of them.
Zomba Films, I believe, is Britney Spears' record label.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, Zomba is Britney Spears' record label. I think it's a subsidiary of Jive Records.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I mean, it's no surprise to learn that this film is basically a 90-minute advert for Britney Spears' third album. That's pretty clear, among other things that we'll get to in the drinking games in terms of advertisements. But yeah, it's definitely that.
My first drinking game that I came up, and then we will get to this, but my first drinking game that I came up with before the film even started, well, I hadn't made it a drinking game at this point, but I'd said to Louise, like, how long do you think it's going to be before we see Britney in her underwear? Mm-hmm. Literally the first shot.
Literally less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's straight in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard cut to Britney in midriff bearing, underwear, dancing to Madonna.
Yeah.
But, great. This movie knows what it is.
This movie delivers.
It certainly does, yeah.
Yeah.
It delivers the Britney Spears experience, whatever that might be. But what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yes. The other thing I noticed in the opening credits. Do you know who Shonda Rimes is?
No.
Okay, so I didn't think you would. Shonda Rimes wrote this movie. Shonda Rimes is now a very famous TV writer and producer. Mm-hmm. She writes, do you know that show Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched it? Or just know it?
One or two.
Know of it, yeah.
Yeah.
She does that, and it's just that show Scandal that Viola Davis is on. Mm-hmm. So she does like high-end, trashy TV, basically. But obviously in 2002 she wasn't famous. So when I was like, oh wow, Shonda Rhimes. I guess this was an early gig for her.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, Grey's Anatomy must have surely been approaching season 10 by this point.
actually, maybe, I don't know. But all I can say is that knowing that Shonda Rhimes wrote it made what happens in the last half hour of this film make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because this film takes some soap opera twists. Mm-hmm. It really does.
Yeah.
Great. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I would agree. I haven't seen this movie since it came out, I don't think. I barely remember it. But, I mean, first of all, I have to say up front, I love Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. I think she is a shining light and a pop icon and a legend, and I think she's great. And I want nothing but good things for Britney Spears in the world.
You're not going to like my sequel.
No, that's okay. That's fine. we can... But yeah, I just think Britney's great, and I always want to see Britney being happy.
Yep.
I think she's very charming.
Yeah.
Like, she's not...
I was expecting her to be a bad actor.
Yeah,
I don't know why I
too bad. Like, she's not great, but the film's not great. So it's kind of... She's fine.
She's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny old film, really, because it really is like such a product of its time. It feels like such a time capsule of like 2002. Like this is like peak Britney.
Yeah.
One thing I learned about this film was that actually she came up with the story idea.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, which I was like, oh, good for you, Britney. Not that I think the story's great, but I was like, oh, okay, this is at least it's a little bit personal for you. It's not just something that's randomly been like, oh, I'll do that, I guess. Like, because there are some quite interesting plot developments in this movie.
Yeah, sure. And like it has a story. It's not paper thin.
No.
There is stuff going on, and it's not all trash. It's very much not all not trash.
No, there's some very, very trashy elements of this movie, but yeah, there's something behind it that you can sense has like even if the movie doesn't necessarily deliver it, that has like a human side to it and a little bit of I don't know, you can tell that there's something about it that she brought to it that is part of herself. Because the best acting she does, because she's not a very good actress, and I don't mean that too mean to her, but she's not. She's like, she's not terrible. Most of this movie, she's fine. Like, the dialogue's not that great anyway. But the bits that get really emotional, I was like, well, Britney, you're just selling this. Like, you're not wooden, you know. The moments with her relationship with her mum are actually very heart-wrenching. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say good on Britney. I feel like this came from something of a true place for her. So, so this came out in 2002, like the absolute height of Britney Spears' career. This is like when she's at that. Well, like I said, it's an advert for her third album. She's in between album 2 and album 3. So this is like post Oops, I Did It Again, around the time of I'm a Slave for You. Kind of, it's that kind of chapter of Britney. Yeah. That's the only song from the third album that's not in this film, and I was like, why not? Because all the other singles from the third album are in this film. They're like crowbarred in. For some reason, Slave for You doesn't show. I guess it's not quite as easy to like crowbar into a story about a sweet little innocent girl or not so innocent girl. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I found this film to be very short, and very enjoyable.
Remarkably short, isn't it?
It really
I think that's probably a
clocks it.
product of the stuff that we had to put ourselves through more recently.
True. Yeah, I mean that Whitney one that was like 2.5 hours long, Dreamgirls being like 2 hours long. And no, this is an MTV movie. It's like an extended music video.
When we were 10, growing up in Georgia, Mimi, Kid, and I knew exactly what we wanted out of life.
Lucy, get the box. This is fun.
So we put our dreams in a box and we buried it.
We have to keep it dry.
We made a pact to dig it up at midnight, the day of our high school graduation.
Hack it down. Let's be best friends forever.
We will. Now, I don't even remember what our wishes were, except for one. We wish that we'd be best friends forever. Well, that wish didn't come true.
Should we talk plot summary?
Definitely.
Excellent. Okay. So, Crossroads, released 2002, starring Britney Spears. Also, Zoe Saldana.
It's got one hell of a cast.
It's got, yeah, and I think it's just a happy coincidence that all of these three ladies went on to have, in very different ways.
Extremely different
They've
ways.
had three very different careers, but they've all done well for themselves. So it's Britney Spears, Zoe Saldana, who, does she age?
Remarkably not, no.
She looks the same.
Yeah.
This movie's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And Taryn Manning, who also actually, does she age? She also looks kind of the same. Like,
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
How old are these people now? Like, I thought that, I genuinely thought that Zoe Saldana and Taryn Manning were both like 30s.
Well, they'll probably be late 30s, early 40s. Probably early 40s at this point, I would say.
Okay.
Must be, realistically. If they were
Let's say if they're like early 20s, then they'd be early 40s now. Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
But
like this is the age I was thinking they were when like Zoe Saldana started in Marvel, or she had an appearance in Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, and Taryn Manning was in Orange is the New Black season 1. I'd be like, yeah, these people, how, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what they look great.
Yeah.
They've both done very well.
Yeah.
As has Britney. I'm not saying anything bad about Britney, but she's had her own life. But yes, it stars the three of them, and we open with a flashback to their childhoods. These are three like childhood best friends.
Yeah.
And we open with a flashback to the three of them burying a time capsule.
Yeah.
So they're burying a classic little time capsule filled with all their memories, and they promise to be best friends forever.
Yeah.
And then we cut to 8 years later, and it's boom, straight in, no fuss, Britney Spears, midriff out, just dancing in her underwear to Madonna's "Open Your Heart" song, and wearing a cowboy hat for no reason. It's just
had to get it in there.
It's delivering Britney. Yeah. So she's dancing around in her underwear. But we learned shortly after the scene that Britney, despite her banging bod, she's the valedictorian of her class.
What is that?
It's like the
best.
Yeah, basically, it's like the class president, or kind. I think we don't really do it here in the UK, but it generally goes to the student who gets like straight A's and is the most high achieving student of the year. I think. Yeah. So she's the valedictorian, and she's also a massive nerd who's never been able to lose her virginity. Because yeah, that's believable.
I'm fine with the case of like somebody who's super attractive never being able to, but like Britney being a massive nerd.
Yeah, that was
no.
No,
Sorry.
come on. Those were come on. Those were clearly the abs of an indoor girl. You know, that was a girl who never left the house. You know, yeah, she just sits and eats chips and watches. You know, geeky. Yeah, that's Britney all over. Yeah. No, she's a big nerd. Her father is Dan Aykroyd, who is very controlling and is pressuring her to become a doctor, like to do a medical degree. Yeah, basically, her life is pretty much set. He's a single dad. But what she really wants to do, of course, because it's Britney, she wants to be a singer and a dancer. She wants to be a musician. But she's burying that dream because her dad is all she's got and all this kind of stuff. So that's her. And she's drifted apart from the other two best friends from her childhood. One of whom has grown up to become Zoe Saldana, who is now like the rich, popular, mean girl.
Yeah.
Who's engaged to her college boyfriend.
Yeah.
At the age of 17.
Yeah.
Like, I know America's a bit weird.
I didn't really think about that because I kind of forget that they're supposed to be like 17 or whatever age, because I know them all now as actors that I think are in their 30s or whatever.
Yeah, and
they all look largely the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they look old in this, like they don't look super old for the part. I mean, they do all look older than 17.
Yeah.
But not like unbelievably so.
No, I agree. I don't know if this is sort of more common in America or not, but like the idea of being engaged at the age of 17 is just very strange to me.
Yeah.
That was an odd plot point. But yeah, she's engaged to her boyfriend who's away at college in California.
Yep.
And then the other one has grown up to be Tara Manning.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, yeah. And the other one's grown up to be Tara Manning, a.k.a. Pennsatucky from Orange is the New Black. And she's kind of an outcast, and she's kind of poor and lives in a trailer park.
Yeah.
And she's also pregnant. So she's your classic kind of high school dropout. She's not dropped out, but she's pregnant. Life isn't looking great for her. She's pregnant at 17. That's very seldom a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the three of them are no longer friends, but it is the prom. The year is over, so they all end up meeting at the prom, but they're not really talking to each other anymore. Well, Zoe Saldana is just like totally above it all. She's got a new clique of friends. Britney's too busy being a nerd. Tara Manning is kind of trying to bring them.
Brittany's trying to lose her virginity to Justin Long.
Oh yes, that's the thing. So Britney just cannot get rid of her virginity. She just can't. She just can't give it away. No one will take it.
Oh, Britney. Oh God.
I mean, it is very much, again, so much of this movie is so of its time, and one of the main things is that Britney's virginity is a major plot point of this movie. Like, it really did take me back to like those very inappropriate days of Baby One More Time when her virginity was literally like, such a topic of conversation. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, this Britney just can't give it away. So she's made a pact with her nerdy best friend, played by a very young Justin Long, that they will sleep together just so they can take each other's virginity before they go to college.
Yeah.
So Justin Long, he's settling for Britney. He's settling.
He's just doing her a favour.
He's doing her a favour. Well, they're doing each other a favour.
Yeah.
But she can't go through with it. When the time comes, we get yet another underwear shot, drink. But she just can't. She's not feeling it. She's not in love with Justin Long.
Yeah.
Somehow the fact that he's literally begging for sex doesn't turn her on at all.
It's hilarious.
It's very unedifying. The poor guy. He's literally begging her to stick it in or to let him stick it in. I don't know.
Please, Lucy, come on. Please. I'm begging you. Please. Let's just do it, please.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can do it.
Okay. So let's... I'll go this way.
Okay. And I'll go this way.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
Please don't laugh. You're killing this.
No, don't you want your first time to be special?
Oh, yeah, but this is special.
Listen, do you want to spend the rest of your life knowing that you did it for the first time with your lab partner?
Yes, I do, and I'll tell you why. Because do you know what it's like for a guy to go to college a virgin?
Henry.
No, I'm telling you, they're ostracized. They treat them like lepers.
I'm sorry.
So she can't do it, and Taryn Manning, meanwhile, is at the prom, trying to convince both of them to go back and dig up their time capsule from the start of the movie.
Yeah.
And they both say no because Britney's got to go and lose her big V, and Zoe Saldana's just got other things. She's got better things to do. But then because Britney ends up not losing her virginity that night, she ends up meeting Tara Manning.
Yeah.
And it turns out Zoe Saldana's had a change of heart as well.
For seemingly no reason.
No, there was some bit about the band and some stuff back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any big reason. But whatever, they reconnect. Although we can't move away from the prom without discussing how ridiculous the prom was.
Go on.
A lot of the prom scenes just happen in like a hotel lobby, but in the middle of dialogue scenes, there'll just like be a random explosion of glitter in their face. Did you notice that like glitter would just rain down on them?
Yeah, it looked quite uncomfortable.
But nobody was like throwing it or firing it. It was just there. I don't know. That made me laugh. But anyway, the three of them meet up again at the old spot, and they dig up their time capsule.
Well, I have to wait that the three of them met up because they didn't particularly plan it this night, because two of them dropped down. So Pennsatucky shows up. I'm just gonna call him.
Yeah, you can call her Pennsatucky.
Tara Manning shows up.
Tara Manning, yeah.
She shows up as the only person who was going to do it. She's very unhappy about it. She's not prepared in the slightest. Zoe Saldana is there with a torch.
Yeah.
So, great, you've got a torch, but now what? And then Britney shows up with a spade. Like, that all works together. Like, one person knows where it is, one person's got a torch, one person's got a spade. That's great. But none of them planned it.
They're a perfect trio. Yeah. Where did Britney get her spade? We don't know.
Where did she get a spade? What was she planning to do with it? How's she going to know where to put it?
Yeah. Whatever. I can't answer that question. But they did.
I'm not. Believe me, John. I am not asking you to.
Fine.
This film is not asking you to.
No, this film is not one. It's not a thinker. This film. So they dig up their time capsule, and it's full of old photos of them as children, and they obviously that makes them reminisce about old times, and they kind of they remember what it was that made them friends back in the day. And then Tara Manning tells the other two that she is going tomorrow on a road trip to LA to audition to be a singer. So there's like a competition to win a record contract.
Yeah.
Even though she's like 3-4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Her pregnancy is undefined, like in terms of how
it's undefined, but she's clearly showing.
She's showing. Yeah. Everyone knows. Yeah. So she wants to go to LA and audition to be a singer, and the other two are like, no, we've got our own plans. Britney's got to stay with her dad, and Zoe Saldana's getting married. She doesn't want to go on a road trip. But then the next day they have changes of heart, and they end up meeting her. Zoe Saldana, because she can't get in touch with her boyfriend in college, he keeps fobbing her off whenever she calls him. So she wants to, and he's in California, so she wants to go drive down with Tara Manning so that she can confront her boyfriend. And then Britney wants to meet up with her estranged birth mother, who is who left her when she was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So she was abandoned at the age of 3 with her dad, and she's not seen her mum since then. But she rationalizes that her mum must have her reasons, and if they actually meet up face to face again, they'll definitely reconnect, and everything will be happy ever after.
Yeah.
So but her dad, Dan Aykroyd, is not supportive of this in the slightest. He refuses to allow it. He won't tell Britney anything about her mum's life or why she left her. He just won't have that conversation. So Britney has to sneak away in the middle of the night, leave a note on his bed, and then the three of them hop in a car, which is being driven by this random guy called Ben, played by Anson Mount, who Tara Manning is just kind of hooked up with, I guess.
Yeah, it seems to, yeah.
It's not really defined how she encouraged him to... Well, he was in the band, actually. He was in the band that was playing at prom.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was a rumour going around at prom, I think, that he'd just got out of jail for murder.
Yeah.
Which becomes a whole plot point. Yeah. So the four of them, the 3 girls and Ben, the possible murderer, they set off on the road. The 3 girls are incredibly nonchalant about the fact that he may be a murderer.
I mean, it becomes a running joke.
It does become a running joke, but it's the kind of running joke where they don't really seem to be taking it particularly seriously.
No, they don't. But also, he's not showing any sort of murderous behaviour.
No, true.
Like, he's being a proper stand-up guy to them.
Well, in part.
He does defend them against the other predatory man.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But it just really made me laugh. There's a line somewhere along the lines early on where Tara Manning says, well, he might have killed someone.
Yeah.
They just seem incredibly just nonchalant about it. I don't know, like unconcerned. Anyway, but they're on this road trip, and of course the car breaks down because it's a road trip movie. So of course the car blows a gasket, and because Britney's got a mechanic for her dad, she immediately diagnoses the problem, but she can't fix it. It's going to cost them thousands. They're stranded in some random backwater town. They already didn't have a lot of money anyway because they've been renting out cheap motels. But fortunately, as luck would have it, there's a karaoke contest in the local bar.
Great.
We all know where this is going. So Tara Manning is supposed to be the singer, so she steps up, and Britney and Zoe Saldana are supposed to be the backing vocalist. But
Britney is a backing vocalist.
Britney is a backing vocalist, yeah, of course. You can't dim that shine.
I loved this whole scene because it's just an elongated scene of like, no, Britney, you should sing lead.
Yeah, so they get up there.
Wonder whose idea that was.
And Tara Manning is immediately overcome with stage fright. She can't get any words out. It's mortifying. So she begs Britney to step up. And Britney reluctantly swaggers into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Once again, just wearing a bra, drink, new haircut, drink.
Yep.
And sings I Love Rock and Roll, which was another single from her third album.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the crowd goes nuts. Like, I mean, of course they would. It's a drunken crowd of like fratty boys.
But they donate like what, $2 million or something?
Tens of thousands of dollars, it seems, to their fund. Yeah.
It's a very large jar, and it gets immediately filled with green money. It's insane.
Yeah. There's a lot of Britney in the karaoke sequence walking around a stripper pole.
Yeah.
And I was like, when is she going to jump on it? Oh no,
Yeah.
she's not.
No,
Okay.
it
She
was-
never did. I really thought that was going to be a thing she did.
It was strange because like before they come out on stage, they say, "Okay, girls, let's do this really sexy."
Yeah.
Right, really sexy then. And then they start putting on just like little bits of clothing. I'm like, okay, they're going to do a striptease. This is awkward.
Yeah.
But
It never
they
happens.
They don't. The backing singers don't do anything sexy particularly, other than just stand there and sing and move their arms a little bit.
I did like how Tara Manning
And,
went from,
Britney just walks around a pole.
Yeah.
Even by Britney standards, that's disappointing.
It was pretty low energy, yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved how Tara Manning went from being completely incapacitated with stage fright, whereas as soon as she gets to being a backing singer, she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's fine. Like
Yeah.
she's living in that moment at that point. But anyway, of course, the crowd goes nuts and they raise all the money they need, and they're celebrating. But then later that night, in the same club, the girls are all dancing. And some guy tries to hit on Britney, and he gets quite handsy with her. He crosses the line big time. And Ben, the possible murderer, he steps up and he punches that guy out, and they all run out of the club. So then Britney's like, "Oh, okay, this guy might be
He's the one.
he might be a nice guy. He
Yeah.
might be the one, yeah." And then we cut to the next day, and they're on the road again. And Ben is very, very tired from all his punching, and he falls asleep in the back of the car. So the three girls take over because before this, Ben has been very possessive about who gets to drive the car. Like, it's a boy's car. It's his car. He has to drive it. They have to stay in the back and listen to boy music and rock and roll.
Yeah.
But now he's asleep, so the three girls jump in the front and they're driving the car, and they are playing Shania Twain and singing along to Shania Twain because it's a movie from 2002, so Shania Twain is the music. So they're all singing along to "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" or something. And then Ben wakes up and has a bizarre toxic masculinity meltdown that I didn't understand in the slightest.
His tantrum was like, what is it from Monty Python? Like the League of Extraordinary Walks or something.
Yeah. He's just walking around kicking things.
Yeah.
But then he's having this full tantrum, and then Brittany kind of walks up to him and says, "Hey, what's wrong?" And he's like, "Look, I'm a dude. I need to do guy things. Don't you understand? I'm in a car with 3 chicks. Do you know what it's like to be surrounded by 3 chicks?" And it's like, he's got some issues. Like,
Yeah.
just like having to listen to Shania Twain for like 3 minutes just sends him into this insane spiral.
Yeah.
And then Brittany just apologizes. She's like, you know what? I understand completely. You're right. I'm in the wrong here. Clearly, this is my issue, not yours.
Sorry, I'm so girly.
Yeah. So weird.
It really is.
We're sorry.
I've been in a car full of chicks for days. Okay, do you have any idea what it's like being surrounded by girls all the time? Okay, but being a girl yourself, yeah, that I know, stupid question. Jeez, but I'm a guy, okay? I'm a guy, just a guy, and I have been listening to nothing but girl talk and watching you all do your girl things for days. And I'm not complaining because let's face it, I'm outnumbered, but that's my car. It's in my car, and it's just. It's the one thing that hasn't been taken over by chicks. Okay?
Okay.
But for some reason, this makes her warm to him.
It's because he shows his emotional side.
By displaying full toxic masculinity? Sure, okay. Yeah. Fine. It's 2002, yeah. But also on the road trip, so now they've kind of broken down his barriers, I guess, and now he's talking to them and or at least Britney is talking to him, and they're getting to know each other a little bit. And they find out that, shocker, he's not a murderer. Thank God. What he actually did, he did go to jail though.
The film goes taking such a dark turn right there. Of I murdered two people.
I fully murdered a woman, yeah.
I chopped her up and burnt her body, yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly it becomes
I've still got the skull, yes.
Yes, it just becomes a full horror movie. That'd be great. If it just became the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, sure. Yeah. But no, that's not where this movie's going. No. It turns out he did go to jail, but he went to jail, and get ready for this, he went to jail because he kidnapped his stepsister from her abusive father and took her across state lines to be with her mother, and that's a crime.
He's such a good-hearted boy, isn't he?
Prince. He went to prison for the right reasons. And you can literally hear Britney's knickers dropping as he tells this story.
The virginity's getting all warmed up.
It's warming up, yeah. So obviously they're very impressed by that. And they end up camping out overnight in a desert.
Yeah.
Why? I guess there's no hotels.
Well, they said that they're an hour away from the hotels or whatever. Oh, but it's getting dark. I guess we should camp up here. Have you ever arrived somewhere in the dark? It's fine.
Maybe they don't have maybe they don't have lights. Who knows? We never see them driving in the dark. It's hard to tell.
Sure. But there could be coyotes and all sorts in the desert.
No, I agree. I feel like the desert is more dangerous. But
yeah.
But we all know why this scene has to happen.
Yes.
Because they're all camping out, and we end up with Britney and Ben alone by the campfire, and she's scribbling away in a little notebook. She's always scribbling, and he's always like, "What are you writing?" She's like, "It doesn't matter. I don't want to tell you." And then eventually, because now they've bonded a little bit and they've learned about each other, she finally admits that she's been writing some poetry. Some poetry. When I tell you, when she read out the first line of "I'm not a girl, not yet a woman," I fully screamed. I'd forgotten that this was what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a visual medium, but this was my face for this entire scene. I was so
manically mouth open.
When I realized, I was like, "Oh my God, it can't be. Oh my God, it is. Oh no, it is."
Okay, what are you always writing in there?
Poems mostly.
Can I hear one?
Okay. One. You can't laugh. Okay. I used to think I had the answers to everything, but now I know that life doesn't always go my way. It feels like I'm caught in the middle, and that's when I realize that I'm not a girl. I'm not yet a woman. All I need is time. Just a moment that's mine. And while I'm in between, I'm not a girl.
I liked it.
It's very powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Move over, Simon Armitage. This is high quality poetry. But he's very, very moved by this. It was so stupid.
It really is.
Because did you recognize? I'm sure Louise did. I'm sure Louise probably had the same reaction as me. But did you realize what it was when she started reading those lyrics?
No, because I don't know the song.
That's what I meant. I didn't think he would.
Yeah, but when she said the line, "I'm not a girl, but not yet a woman," or something like that, and I was like, "Oh dear."
Oh no. Yeah. Oh no.
I know what this is.
Yeah. Okay. So you got there. Yeah. Great. So she does that, and that's a very authentic bonding moment between the two of them. And then the road trip continues, and they arrive at Britney's mom's place. So Britney jumps out of the car, and they leave her there, and she's like, "Well, it's been fun, but now I'm going to see my mom, and everything's going to be great again. Bye." And she knocks on the door of her mom, who she's not seen since she was 3 years old.
You know what concerns me about these the films of this era? When this sort of stuff happens, when she's like, "Okay, great, so you guys carry on, and I'll be fine." What if you're not fine? You don't have a mobile phone.
Yeah, nobody has a mobile phone in this movie.
What are you?
This must be like the last.
What are you going to do? Call the landline of the hotel that they're supposed to get to, or something?
Yeah, how are they communicating?
Hope that everything works. How did the world work before we had mobile phones? I can just about understand when everyone has a house phone, sure, but there was a time where that even wasn't a thing. How on earth did anybody do anything?
it was rough, Harry, but it's all we knew. It was
It
all we knew.
doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know what to tell you. It was we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Britney knocks on her mum's door, who she's not seen since she was 3.
Yep.
And who should open the door but Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City, dressed inexplicably as Steve Irwin's crocodile hunter. Did you notice this? She was
I
like,
didn't.
She was like full like. Do you remember Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter, the guy who?
Yeah.
The guy got killed by the stingray.
Yep.
He always would wear like those kind of green army style. Kim Cattrall was dressed like that, basically.
Yeah.
If you picture Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter, that's what Kim Cattrall was dressed as in this scene. Don't know why. Yeah, so this is her mom. She's seeing her for the first time since she was 3, and the mum's not happy to see her. Like, it's clearly an uncomfortable moment, and then they have a very harsh conversation, but not on camera. It's like it just cuts away.
It was weird. I feel like I phased out at this point, but I'm not sure if I did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That scene was not in the movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Basically, the mom kind of sits down and says, "Look, we need to talk." And I'm like, "Oh, it's going to get really dramatic now."
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to the hotel room. I guess maybe either they never filmed that scene because they thought it'd be too upsetting, or maybe it didn't turn out well in the edit. I don't know. It seemed weird not to show it because it's like the center point of her emotional story, and we just don't see it.
Yeah.
But then she turns up at the. So the next thing we see of Britney is that she turns up at the hotel again.
It's rained. She's wet.
It's rained. She's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink. But she's very sad because her mum has told her that she was an accident, basically.
Yeah.
And like I said, actually, I was impressed by Britney Spears as somebody who's clearly not an actress. In this scene, I got a little bit sad.
Oh.
She was very like vulnerable in this moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Britney. Like, it was nice. I don't know. It was a nice little scene. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, the story, but it was a nice moment for her because we see that her mother has had other children, basically.
Yeah.
And what Britney says to Ben, the boyfriend guy, is that apparently her mum just says, "Look, she never wanted me. I was a mistake," and her mum said that her dad forced her to have. Forced Kim Cattrall to have Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Which immediately made me think, well, Dan Aykroyd's the villain of this film then. I already suspected it a little bit, but he's clearly the villain. If he's forced a woman to have a baby against her will, that's very dark. That's incredibly dark.
Yep.
Because also I was like, why not just have Kim Cattrall say, look, I got pregnant while I was way too young. I didn't want kids, and I don't want kids, and it's really sad, but I had to leave you because I'm just not a natural. Like, that wouldn't make more sense.
Or like, I didn't want kids then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you know, I've had kids now, and when they came, I was ready. But when I had you, I wasn't ready, and so I gave you away, and I could never face the fact that I did that, and so I just I moved on.
We needed to see the conversation because it felt very strange and very cruel.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really explain what Kim Cattrall's reasons are, other than that maybe Dan Aykroyd raped her. It really paints him as the villain. I really think this film paints him as the villain, but I don't think the film knows it's doing that. But it was
because it's told from Britney's point of view, and it's like
she idolizes her father. Yeah,
and because he's her father, and like he's been there for her, and it's difficult. It's difficult to make him the villain when, like, if he hadn't have done what you're assuming is a villainous act, based on the evidence that we've been given, then if that hadn't happened, then our main character who we're supposed to fall in love with just wouldn't exist.
True.
So I don't know, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, but also the other thing I was wondering in this scene was that when Britney leaves Dan Aykroyd back in their hometown to go on this road trip, she leaves him a note and says very specifically what she's going to do. She's like, I'm going to go get back in touch with my mother who's abandoned me. So he knows where she's going. He might not be able to like follow her to every stop, but he knows where she's going. Yeah. Why wouldn't he just call Kim Cattrall and be like, look, I know we've not spoken in 20 years, but our daughter is on her way to you, so just be prepared. I'm just there's no indication that he's done that.
Yeah.
Which makes me think they're not speaking.
Yeah.
Which makes me think he raped her.
Right, okay.
I really feel like this movie is telling me that Dan Aykroyd is a bad guy.
Okay.
And I couldn't get past that. But
totally could be.
He could be, but that's not where this movie goes with. Anyway, whatever. So Britney's very sad. She's crying. She's crushed.
There is a difference between rape and forcing someone to have a baby.
Well, okay, maybe they're consensual sex.
Because the latter of that takes 9 months.
True. Okay, yeah. It could be they had consensual sex, but then he forced her to keep the baby.
There could be a lot more quite dodgy stuff going on after that. But,
just the phrase "he forced me to have the baby" just really set alarm bells off for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just weird that the movie like dropped that out there and then didn't really feel like it needed to contextualize that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter in this context. So, Britney's very, very upset, but Ben cheers her up by setting her poetry to music. So he plays he's like, look, I took that poem that you wrote, that very deep poem about how you're neither a girl nor a woman yet. And he plays the piano and she starts singing along, and magically it's her hit single, I'm Not a Girl Nor Yet a Woman.
You know what I liked about this scene? Two things.
Okay.
First of all, there was no hard cut to a studio recording.
No, it's just him in a lobby with a piano.
Yeah, as in like it never hard cuts to her audio.
Oh no,
she's been recorded in the studio.
She's genuinely singing it.
Yeah, in that scene, and that's good because you don't see that often. Including with many actors who are singers, and also that them creating the song actually felt like they were creating the song. Because it wasn't like he played a little bit and then suddenly they just burst into the single.
True, she did figure out the melody.
Yeah.
You're right. I thought that was nice too.
I appreciated them then putting that little bit of effort into like, oh, this is how the melody goes. Oh, should I go like this? Should I go like that? And little back and forth, and you see it kind of building. And then they don't even sing the whole song there and then. Like, that's just the start of their rehearsal, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it comes up on stage later, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right, actually. I noticed that as well. I thought they did, if nothing else, they did make the creation of the song, if not realistic, then at least a little bit more, a little
bit more natural
feeling. Yeah. I would agree. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So that cheers her up a little bit. And then I can't remember if this was now or earlier on, but at some point she has a drunken night with the girls, with Zoe Saldana and Taryn Manning, and they kind of bond over their shared trauma.
I just remember one thing about this. So they're talking about all their shared trauma, and did you notice there's a lot of hard cuts in this?
Yes, very hard cuts.
Yeah. So there's one bit where, well, first of all, they start getting drunk and they're all wearing like full faces of makeup and they've been out or maybe they are out or something. I don't know.
I think it was after the karaoke scene, yeah.
But and they're still wearing some of their best clothes. By the way, the costumes in this, where do they keep all those clothes? It's a small car.
Massive suitcases, yeah.
A TARDIS of a trunk in that car.
100%, yeah.
And then there's a hard cut to suddenly like the conversation is still carrying on, like in flowing exactly as it was, but now they've all taken all their makeup off and they're all wearing their pajamas and like eating ice cream or something.
Of course, yeah.
Which is great. No, they're not just eating ice cream. They've ordered a full tray of pudding,
like food, room service, yeah.
Yeah. To which I'm wondering, like, with these three very thin women,
these skinny bitches, yeah, they're not eating ice cream. Yeah.
No, I know one of them's eating for two, but come on.
Yeah.
And then the conversation, as it still carries on with its natural flow, it then hard cuts to the morning, and they're all sat outside still in their pajamas.
It just keeps
as though
going,
they've been talking all night, and they're still talking about this like heavily deep stuff. Like Zoe Saldana talks about how she doesn't trust her husband or whatever, and Pensatucky talks like she then in the morning, like just what's supposed to be like 8 hours later or something, but it's 2 seconds later, just reveals her little backstory.
You know how this scene could have been improved massively if they were all doing like massive amounts of cocaine through the whole thing, just like it just keeps going.
Yeah,
not that kind of movie, but I agree. It is weird how the time cuts are very strange.
Yeah,
but yeah, in this scene they all kind of open up about their own individual vulnerabilities. So Zoe Saldana talks about her fiance and how she doesn't really know if she can trust him, but also about how when she was a kid, she got sent to fat camp every year by her mother, who was very controlling. Britney obviously talks about how her mother abandoned her and how that made her feel.
Yeah.
And then Taryn Manning reveals probably the biggest reveal, which is that her baby, her pregnancy, is the result of date rape. She was date raped one night by a guy drinking from a blue beer bottle, which we'll get to.
I could sense the Sherlock Holmes moment coming a mile off.
The pipe was lit. Yeah, the pipe was lit. So they've all bonded, and Britney's had a failed interaction with her mother, and all that's happened. So finally, they arrive in LA, and Zoe Saldana keeps calling her boyfriend, but he just keeps fobbing her off. He's like, "Look, I'm busy. I'm studying for finals. I can't possibly see you." And she's not. The girl is not reading the signs. She's really not. She's deluding herself. So her and Taryn Manning drive off together to kind of confront him. Conveniently enough, leaving Britney alone with Ben, the driver, where she can finally lose that virginity. She finally drops that big V.
Yep.
Yeah. Britney has sex. Zoe Saldana and Tara Manning are driving to meet the fiance. Tara Manning doesn't know that's where they're going. She's been somewhat kidnapped by Zoe Saldana.
Right.
And she's very resistant. And when she realizes what's happening, she's like, no, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. And it's like, why? It's my boy. It's my fiance. What do you care? Zoe Saldana goes upstairs. And of course, she knocks on the door. And of course, the fiance.
It's the classic. Like he opened the door ajar, just comes out, and then, oh, it's you. Looks back behind him. Yeah, no, I was just in there with one of my friends. He's really upset or whatever. And like, she's still not getting it.
No, she's
It's so
not,
frustrating how she's not getting it.
she's not the sharpest tool. But of course, there's a sexy lady in the bedroom with the fiance. So clearly he's cheating on Zoe Saldana. And then Tara Manning when she sees this fiance, when she sees Zoe Saldana's fiance face to face, gets really upset. And Zoe Saldana looks down and realizes that the fiance is drinking beer from a blue bottle. This is when the movie really took a turn for me. Like this is when the movie went from okay, I can see where this is going. This movie's following a straight line to whoop, hard left, because so much happens so quickly at this point, right? I was shocked by the direction this movie took in this next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So Zoe Saldana looks at the blue ball and realizes that her fiance raped Tara Manning and made her pregnant.
Yeah.
So she punches him square in the jaw, knocks him out.
Yep.
Tara Manning runs down the stairs crying in trauma because she's just seen her rapist, trips over, falls down the stairs and loses her baby. And I was like, holy shit, this movie took a turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really, this is when I was like, oh, Shonda Rimes wrote this. Because this is such a Grey's Anatomy plot point.
Right.
Yeah, so she's in hospital having fully lost her baby. Britney goes to the hospital. Zoe Saldana goes to the hospital. They're all waiting around to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
Or as okay as she can be in the circumstances. And Dan Aykroyd flies in because Britney's called him and said, Daddy, I want to go home. So Dan Aykroyd flies in and offers to take the three girls home again. Well, kind of demands that he's going to take the three girls home again.
Yeah.
Assumes that's what they're going to want. So, yeah, once Tara Manning is suitably recovered from losing the baby, she forgives Zoe Saldana for it. She doesn't blame her, which is very nice. And the three of them get into a cab with Dan Aykroyd, and he's going to take them to the airport and fly them back to Louisiana or wherever it was where they grew up. So while they're in the cab, Britney spies Ben, her love interest, on the street, and she has a moment of realization, and she tells Dan Aykroyd not to make her run like her mother did. She jumps out of the taxi, runs, leaps into Ben's arms, then goes to the audition that Tara Manning was supposed to go to.
Quick pause. How pissed off would you be if you were Dan Aykroyd as in character in this film? Because he's just paid for flights for himself to get over there, and presumably flights for himself and the three of them.
Yeah, he's down thousands
to get back. Short-term flights as well, short notice flights as well. So, yeah, Britney is being a bitch, and he's also complaining about I've saved up all this money for you to go to college, and got you an inn at a hospital so that you could become a doctor, and I pulled lots of favors and everything, and you want to be with this guy, then, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. Yes,
Cool.
He is as a humble mechanic. He is down thousands on Britney's little pipe dream here.
Yeah.
But anyway, she jumps up the cab. She runs to Ben, gives him a big snort, goes to the audition, once again performs her poem. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. Now as a full pop song with what was this audition?
I'm not sure.
Was it American Idol?
It kind of
Because it was a full band setup. The two other girls get to sing backup for her.
Yeah.
She gets to sing a whole song. When you audition, generally you get 90 seconds top. She has to do the whole song.
Yeah, but it was a good song now.
It's a great song, yeah. So she sings the Britney Spears classic hit single, I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman. She gets a standing ovation. The crowd is obsessed with it. They love it. And then boom, end of movie.
Yeah.
Well, the three girls bury another time capsule on the beach in LA. And then we lived happily ever after.
I mean, say on the beach in LA, lightly in the sand.
Very lightly, is it?
That is going away very quickly.
That's it. A single low tide in that time capsule's gone forever. Yeah. But they do that, and the movie ends very abruptly, and then we do get a blooper reel though.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I mean, I like that it's sort of centered around Britney is still on stage and just performing another single.
Yeah, another song from the album.
Yeah, and I just loved it because I just sort of imagined like them filming this. You know, the closing scene of the audition, and just Britney saying, "Well, you know, we got the cameras here, and I'm on stage.
Yeah.
So you know, while I'm on stage, I better just
I can do one more.
Yeah.
Overprotected anyone? Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Does anybody want another one? Oh, you all want another one? Okay, I'll sing you another one. Yeah.
You can. I mean, you can really tell a very serious movie when it has a blooper reel over the end credit.
Yeah.
It's a very Oscar-worthy. So, and that is the end of Crossroads.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's
I
insane.
had a good time with this.
It's insane nonsense, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
Cool. So drinking games.
Yes. So we've already covered a few. We've covered drink for underwear.
Yeah, I was going to say drink every time Britney's midriff is exposed.
Got midriff here too.
Or she's in some form of undress. Yeah, that is a very heavy one for this movie.
You know, it's not just Britney as well. Zoe Saldana gets out a couple of times.
Oh, sure. I don't doubt it, but
Yeah.
Britney certainly is undressed in many sequences in this movie.
Yeah. But in general, drink for the camera focusing on body parts.
Yeah.
Just there is a lot of it in this film.
It amazes me that this film was directed by a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it
Really?
doesn't feel like it, but sure. Yeah. Similarly, drink every time Britney's hairstyle changes.
Yes, absolutely.
Given that she is, supposed to be like on the road with no money, like her hairstyle, just from scene to scene, it's different all the time.
Yeah.
The length, the cut, the styling, it's great.
Yeah, and it's always immaculate.
Yeah, of course, it looks great. Any scene she's in, she looks great.
Yeah. On a similar line, drink for costume changes.
I had drink for denim.
Yes,
I feel like this was the
definitely,
peak of Britney's denim era.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good time. Drink for hats.
Nice.
I guess Britney wears a variety of hats in this movie, which I found endlessly entertaining.
You always
Because
do.
none of them flattered her.
Drink whenever they sing a non-Britney song.
Yeah, drink for 90s pop,
Yeah.
certainly. There's Bye Bye Barbie and Sing. I guess she was still dating Justin at this time, so it was like cross promotion. Shania gets in there, Sheryl Crow gets in there.
Madonna at the start.
Madonna. It's a good soundtrack. I
Yeah, it's a
enjoyed it
right
lot.
good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right good soundtrack, and there's a Britney album in there.
And it's half a Britney album, yeah.
Yeah. Drink whenever the car is a character.
Oh, I had drink for dangerous driving.
Yeah.
I feel like we have the same drinking games pretty much this week, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of scenes where I was like, I don't feel like I trust you girls to be driving at this moment. Like, it seems dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of that.
Drink for toxic masculinity.
Great.
From the Ben guy, obviously, and also from Dan Aykroyd, and I guess any man in this movie. It seems to happen a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Last one I got is drink when she calls her dad.
Drink whenever she calls her dad and then hangs up on him straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Okay, I had a few more. I had drink every time the girls disregard the very real danger that they're sharing a car with a murderer. Drink for songs from Britney's third album.
Yep.
That's a very productive one.
Yep.
And finally, drink every time someone in this movie takes a sip of cool, refreshing Pepsi. Did you notice how much Pepsi product placement was in this movie?
Yeah.
There's so many scenes where they'll just be like in the middle of a very deep conversation about how Tara Manning got raped that one time, and then it's just wait a second. I'm just going to take a very slow gulp of cool, refreshing Pepsi.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is what are you going to do? This movie was produced by MTV. Like,
It needed to make some money somehow.
yeah, it did. Yeah, it wasn't the grocers.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, very silly. Well, listeners, if that wasn't enough drinking games for you and you kind of wish there were more, then you can subscribe to us on patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. You can get extended episodes. You can get more drinking games, more listener submissions, more sequel ideas from us, and just, more bang for your buck. You can also get a few other features, such as a 30-second advert slot here on the main show, once a month per person. Talk about whatever you want, your own podcast, your own business, just whatever you feel like promoting, if that's what you want to do.
yeah.
Well, you want to just talk for 30 seconds about nothing? Go for it.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do you get? You get our exclusive Facebook group, you get the extended episodes. Oh, of course, we do once a month do a Patreon episode. That's what this is.
Yeah, you can choose a film for us to do on one of these episodes, and we will do it for you. You can choose any film in the world. It can be super obscure, super famous. We don't care. We'll do it.
We love doing it because it's a way that we watch films that we wouldn't otherwise watch.
Indeed, and that's a good time for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Mostly.
Yeah. You know what? I think it always has been. So
Yeah,
far.
I've never been truly horrified by a listener submission.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The closest we've come is The Greatest Showman, but
That was a good time.
We both agreed that we still enjoyed it loads.
I had a great time with the
Yeah,
Greatest
I enjoyed it
Showman.
way more than I expected to. And same with this.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I've had a really good time with this. So,
So
yeah,
thank you, Alice. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, thank you all Patreons who have chosen films for us, and we want more in the future. So yeah, patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set.
Indeed.
Let's see, Alex. What do you think of Jaws, which is at 97% Rotten Tomatoes?
I find it to be anti-shark propaganda. What do you feel about the Entourage movie, which is at a meager 33%?
I think they finally got Hollywood right. How about It Follows, 97%?
Worse than your parents giving you the sex is evil talk. How do you feel about Juno, which is at 94%?
That would be a movie that celebrates a teenage homewrecker. How about Bewitched at 25%?
Best television adaptation ever put to film. How do you feel about American Hustle at a towering 93%?
Overwrought awards bait. Righteous Kill, 19%.
The movie that Michael Mann wishes he had made when he created Heat.
Sounds about right. I'm Julio.
I'm Alex, and we are the Contrarians.
As you can tell, our thing is that we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine.
Regardless of what we really feel.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn.
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
Right. Okay, let's move on to sequels.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Sure. So mine is called Crossroads U-Turn.
U-turn. Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's turning back again. Mm-hmm. Go
But
on.
for British markets, doing a Yui.
Doing a Yui. Okay, sure. Tell me more.
Okay, so 20 years later, let's catch up with our core gang.
Okay.
So we start off with Zoe Saldana. She's now a successful small business owner of some kind.
Okay.
It's not important what, but something like she runs a gym or a salon or a cafe or something. But
I can buy it. Yeah.
yeah, saying that she's still stuck in the small town.
She's still in that small town. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
But yeah, she's done pretty well for herself. She's been married for about 15 years, got a couple of children, aged sort of 10 and 8 or something like that. It's all going well for her. It's all going very well. Apart from she's got a few suspicions about her husband.
Okay.
Casting for a husband, Matthew Perry.
Zoe Saldana and Matthew Perry.
Yeah, wanted to be like completely...
Mismatched.
Yeah, mismatched.
Yeah. He's punching way above his weight. In
Oh,
that
yeah.
pairing, but sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So like he's punching, but also she's got suspicions that like he's not staying loyal in a marriage.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know where we're going to go with that, but we'll see.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's Tara Manning. Since her brief stint in the hospital at the end of the original, she has grown up and become a nurse.
Okay.
So yeah, in fact, in this sequel, just thought I'd bring in a little real world event because I imagine that any film that has Britney in it would be try and be a statement, punching above.
Yeah.
So she's recently been a COVID nurse. She's,
Okay.
and she's having a pretty rough time of it, as I imagine.
Sure.
At home, she's got 3 children who she kind of resents. She loves them for being her children, but she has a pretty rough time of it.
Is she still with the father of any of these?
No.
She's a single mom. Okay.
All the fathers don't actually know that they exist.
Okay, and she's still living in that small town as well, same as Zoe Saldana. Okay.
Yes. So she is one ragged. They both get a call from Britney.
Okay.
Voice only at this point. You got to build up
You
the
gotta
reveal.
it's like sharing Mamma Mia. Make him wait.
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
So yeah, she's asking if they want to meet up and do another road trip thing.
Okay.
They go and search for that box they buried 20 years ago and sort of like flash back to how their lives were then.
Okay.
So, they're going back to the beach. They're doing a U-turn. They're going to go back to the beach.
I see. Hence the title. Okay, I like it. Yeah.
And yeah, so they all agree it's been a rough couple of years recently. They've had some had some tough times, and it'd be nice to get a break. And yeah, go on a road trip and go on holiday and sort of flash back to their old lives and how great everything was in the last film, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
And we see from some of the montages that we get, as you get in every Harry Chapel joint, that Britney in the last 20 years has become a global superstar.
Nice. Okay. Of course.
She's become Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She has her own music career, successful model, and has deals for makeup and perfume and all sorts.
She's an A-lister. Yeah. She's a star.
Absolutely, but she's not been seen in the public eye for a few years.
Oh, okay. She's taken a few years out.
So she's having a bit of a rough time of it as well, but we don't really know what. It's been kind of forgotten a little bit, but she's been that level of superstar that she's still loaded.
Of course. Yeah, she's Britney, bitch.
Yeah. So, yeah, a couple of days later, Britney's limo arrives in town. Word has got out that she's coming, so, there's quite a crowd that have been drawn. Zoe Saldana and Tara Manning, they're both there, like big rucksacks with them or whatever. A lot of outfits.
Sure, yeah. Many costume changes. Yeah.
Yeah. The door of the limo opens, and we get the classic shot of a foot coming out.
Nice. Okay.
It's a man's foot, though.
Oh, okay.
And we get a slow reveal of a fancy three-piece suit worn by Britney's producer, composer, guitarist, and life partner, Ansel Mount.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
He's still around.
Okay.
So they stayed together. They had their happily ever after.
Oh, good for them. Okay.
Zoe and Taryn both cheer with delight and run over and give him a big hug.
Okay.
It's like, they love him. He's not a murderer anymore.
Yeah,
they
that's
love
nice. They've made peace with that.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the door opens again, comically, and one foot comes out, revealing a high-heeled red stiletto.
This is Britney, right?
Paparazzi cameras are flashing, the crowd is cheering and growing in anticipation, and a figure steps out of the car and reveals Britney got fat.
No. Okay.
Yeah. There was an audible in the crowd.
Oh, no.
Summed up comically by Zoe and Taryn's confused faces.
Okay.
Britney runs over, she's not like obese or anything, just she's not Britney.
Okay, sure, yeah.
She runs over to them and hugs them both as the crowd quickly thins. And
She's gaining weight, guys. Let's get out of here.
the girls welcome each other, comment on all, their appearances and catching up over the last 20 years.
Sure.
And then they say, like, well, should we get going then? Because, we've got about a week's drive or something to do. So they go over to the limo, and maybe Zoe Saldana goes to get in. But then Ansel Mount says, like, no, we're not going in the limo. And everybody looks disappointed at this. Like, oh, we really wanted to go in the limo. Like, we're just from this small town.
So they're doing it the old school way. They're doing
the limo drives up. The driver drives the limo away, parks behind it. It's Ansel Mount's car.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, not that clapped out banger.
Okay.
But it turns out he's got Britney money.
Sure.
He's been working on that for 20 years
It's been
with Britney
fully,
money.
Yeah.
That is a pretty fancy car
It's
right
been
now.
souped up, yeah. He's pimped that ride.
Yeah. So four of them get in with Ansel at the wheel. He's driving. And he revs it super loud and drives off. Like headbands flying off into the distance.
Sure, yeah.
And the road trip begins. It's a trip of self-discovery.
Nice.
Britney, being the wise old being that she is.
Wise old being Britney.
She shares a lot of life lessons with them along the way. And they all start learning some things. So that's what I've got to so far.
Okay.
Do
What's their destination again?
So I was saying that they were going back to that California beach somewhere to go and try
to dig up the...
to try and dig up this box, but it's not about the box.
No, it's not the journey.
It's very much not about the destination. I want them to go to Vegas.
Nice, yeah.
Definitely. And
this is veering very close to what I did.
Okay, sorry.
So no, that's fine. You weren't
Yeah.
to know. But maybe I should do my one and then we can figure out an ending. Because I
right.
feel like they are genuinely intersecting.
Great. Okay.
So I had a very similar basic plot point for mine.
Yeah.
Which is, my sequel's called Crossroads 2 In the Zone.
Nice.
Because that was the fourth Britney album. And I was thinking this could be just like
what
this.
was the third one called?
It was called Britney.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Kind of boring, yeah.
I hate it when artists do a self-titled album and it's not their first album.
I know. It's
Like,
so
come
lazy,
on.
yeah. But anyway.
It's not lazy, it's up themselves.
It's a little pretentious, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that because the movie Crossroads was built around the songs from the Britney album, which is I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman, I Love Rock and Roll, Overprotected, this one could be all about the songs from her fourth album, which is In the Zone. So this is, we'll get to it. So it's 20 years later. Britney is, much like your one, I thought Britney has gone on to be a megastar. She won that audition. Yeah. She became a superstar.
Yeah.
But the girls' friendships have fallen apart and they're no longer in touch anymore. And Britney has had some trouble with the media through the years. They've been very intrusive into her life. They've made things very difficult for her. They've, much like real life Britney, they've tried to report that she's crazy or whatever. If they say I'm crazy, all that. Also, her father, Dan Aykroyd, became her manager.
Okay.
But he is a very controlling manager. And she's had a lot of trouble trying to extricate herself from his controlling influence, basically. Which again, because Britney in real life has a very controlling father, allegedly. So that could be a whole thing. And also her mother, Kim Cattrall, even though she abandoned her when she was a nobody, now that she's famous, Kim Cattrall has come out of the woodwork and has tried to cash in on her, sold stories and
goddamn Kim Cattrall.
It's been a rough few years for Britney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Zoe Saldana. She went on to become a tabloid journalist.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, because she was very rich and poised and successful. And her friendship with Britney was irreparably harmed when she sold tabloid stories about her. She used her close friendship with Britney to become a tabloid journalist and then sold stories. So then Britney could never trust her again.
Yeah.
So they've not spoken since.
Okay.
And Tara Manning.
And are the stories that she writes, they still all Britney centered or not?
Yeah, she's basically a tabloid journalist who focuses almost exclusively on Britney. So she's like a real parasite. She's just leeching on Britney's fame basically, and Britney's over it. Meanwhile, Tara Manning obviously was the one who wanted to be a star in the first place, but she couldn't get over her stage fright. Her auditions all failed. She ended up going back to Louisiana, back to the hometown, raising a few more kids, and not really making a huge amount of herself. So she's obviously a little bit bitter that Britney went on and had this huge career, and she ended up going back to hometown. And again, the two of them have not really stayed in touch. So that's where they're all at. But so it intersects with yours because I also think that Britney has spent a few years out of the limelight. Maybe we could open with her divorcing Ben, because I don't really care about his character, the Anson Mount character.
Oh.
I didn't think that love story was that compelling, so I want to make this more of like a female empowerment story. So it doesn't need a love interest, but that could be a great opportunity to burn through some of her famous hits.
Nice.
So maybe we open with her in divorce court, divorcing Ben after 20 years of marriage. And so the judge calls Britney up and says, "Do you have any further statements to make, Miss Spears, on your marriage to this man?" And she gets up and she says, "Yes, I have a prepared speech." And that's when she reads out the lyrics to the song "Toxic." And that's how she gets a full settlement, because he's toxic and she's slipping under.
Yeah, but isn't it like, don't you know that I'm toxic?
No, in this version, he's toxic.
Don't you know that he's toxic?
Yeah. He's toxic. I'm slipping under. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't work perfectly. I'm just going. Yeah. So Britney divorces him. She's a divorcee. Yeah. But because of her marriage and because of her personal problems, she's actually been out of the industry for several years. She's not released an album. She's not done any music for a while. But she's actually preparing, as we check in on her in this movie, after her divorce, she prepares to have a grand comeback with a new show in Las Vegas, which is called the In the Zone Show.
Cool.
Yeah. Before the rehearsals start, though, she has to go back home to Louisiana, her hometown, to be the guest of honor at her high school class of 2022 graduation ceremony, where she'll give a speech to say, "Look, I was the valedictorian of this class, and I was a nerd who couldn't even lose my V, and now I'm Britney Spears, bitch." So she's giving this very empowering speech to the next generation of kids.
Yeah.
And Zoe Saldana follows her down in her role as tabloid journalist to kind of try and get a story, get a scoop. And Tara Manning's obviously already there because she never really left. And so obviously that's going to cause the three of them to get back together again.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, the three of them meet up again, and obviously there's going to be some confrontation around the fact that Zoe Saldana is trying to be a tabloid pap or whatever. But they end up deciding the three of them, they make up, they have a drunken night again, and they decide to go on another road trip to go back to the beach, like in your one, and dig up the time capsule. And that's where the two intersect, you see.
Sure.
So I'm just thinking the main part of the movie, like your one, is going to be a road trip between the three women.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that Britney wants to do it to get away from the whole tabloid A-list megastar lifestyle. So that's why she really wants to do this with no bodyguards, no managers, just a clapped out old banger and her two old friends from school, who are the only two people in the world, even though they've not spoken in a long time, because they knew her before she was famous. They're the only people she can literally trust to see her for who she really is, and not see her as a star. So that's why, even though they've not stayed friends,
she probably needs to build that trust back with.
She does, but they're the only people she can do it with. She can't do it with a new person because they'll always see her as Britney Spears pop star first.
Yeah.
So these two people are so important in her life. Meanwhile, Zoe Saldana initially only goes along with it to try and get a scoop, but as the movie goes along, her heart melts and she realizes that she loves Britney as a friend first and foremost, and she doesn't want to sell her out.
Does she regret all the things
she
that
regrets
she's done? As a paparazzi, has been bothering her.
They have a whole tearful thing.
Yeah.
And Tara Manning's not really had an opportunity to really do much of anything for the past 20 years because she's kind of been stuck in this town. So initially she resents Britney for being the star, but then as the trip goes on, she realizes how hard being a star is and how much intrusion goes into it, and she realizes that it would never have been anything she would have been able to handle. And her and Britney kind of reconcile and make up as well. So the three of them, they reform those bonds basically.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking similar to your one, So I'm thinking similar to your one. It's going to end up with them on the beach in LA. They drive back to LA where they buried the last time capsule.
Yeah.
And like your one, they start digging, and it becomes immediately apparent that it's in the ocean. Like it is. Like a low tide. They didn't bury it. Like you said, they didn't bury it very deep. So a single low tide has swept it out. So they can't find the time capsule basically. They never can. But in the searching and in the road trip, they realized that the true time capsule was in their hearts. It wasn't on the beach. So they learned that it was the journey, not the destination, that matters. And so it's all about their repairing their friendship.
I like that. Yeah.
I realized I didn't work in enough Britney Spears in the Zone songs.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, because there's also Me Against the Music and Outrageous and Every Time, but
It'd become much more of a writing challenge for you to do that.
it does. Yeah, it was tricky. You could figure it out, but ultimately, I want it to be a story of female friendship, basically.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I think both of our sequels end up in the same place, which is them on the beach looking for a time capsule that's already
gone.
It's gone. They're not going to get it back, but they realise that actually that wasn't what mattered. What mattered was the friendships they made along the way.
For me, I wanted them all to realise the things that they've got and suddenly be thankful for them. So for me, basically Zoe Saldana and Tara Manning kind of have the same little realisation and do a U-turn and start loving their families again.
Okay, yeah.
And that maybe Zoe Saldana's suspicions on Chandler are completely made up, completely in her head.
Oh, really? So he's a loyal husband?
Yeah, and it turns out that he's
Well,
just
to be
been
fair,
loyal the whole time.
Matthew Perry and you're married to Zoe Saldana, you're going to be loyal. You don't want to push that boat.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that Tara Manning, she may resent where her 3 children came from, from different husbands who have all, just completely disappeared. But actually, she's got these 3 wonderful children that she absolutely loves.
Yeah.
And
so she counts her blessings.
yeah.
Okay.
I never really pinned down what Britney's thing was, but I just thought I'd make a joke about her being fat, which
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
paints me in a brilliant light.
It does.
But no, I started doing that, and I just couldn't really think of anything else.
Okay. Well, maybe she comes to terms with the fact that she's in a good place.
That like fame isn't everything, and maybe she needs to put effort into her mental health.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she focuses more on the friendships that matter than
maybe Britney's thing was that she was trying too hard to be Britney.
Yeah.
And it broke her, and like for the last couple of years, like she's completely broken down, and that's why she's in the state that she is. Yep, mentally as well as physically.
Okay, sure.
And
judgmental, my God.
and then she's sort of taken a U-turn on, wanting to be Britney, and it's decided that like, no, I don't actually need that. I don't need to be.
Yeah.
I don't need to be how the public is supposed to see me.
Yeah.
I can just be me.
Is this more poetry? Is this the lyrics she's writing?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And then they'll finish singing. I don't know.
Great. No, I like it. Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
What was yours called again?
Britney Spears. Crossroads 2 in the Zone.
This film isn't called Crossroads. It's called Britney, isn't it?
Yeah, it is it's the Britney. Yeah. No, Crossroads 2 in the Zone.
Cool. And Crossroads U-turn.
Both good. Yeah.
Both good. Yeah. Nice.
Excellent. Good.
Nice.
Good. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Right. Should we do some listener submissions?
Sure. So first of all, we've got. Are we doing listeners or Patreons?
Well, we always start with Patreons. We've got
Yep.
a couple of audio submissions here.
Yeah, let's hear them. So we asked our Patreon listeners. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we asked them a question this week as
we
well.
did.
Didn't
We
we?
thought we'd ask them specifically because we're now reaching the end of this season
Yeah.
of pop stars turned actors. We asked our patrons who they feel the greatest pop star or musician turned actor is, or the best performance by a pop star turned actor.
Yeah.
And this is what they submitted. So let us know, guys.
Yeah.
Hi Harry, hi John. This is Ant of Pods Up North fame, and most recently, podcast-wise, from Wrestling with the Champ. To answer your question straight away, there's one musician that springs to mind, and I've thought about this before, so I'm really pleased to have this opportunity to answer this question, which I've asked myself. And hands down, the best acting performance by a famous musician in a movie has to be Björk in Dancer in the Dark, a performance that she didn't want to do initially. She just wrote the music and was convinced to play the role by Lars von Trier, who directed it. That film got the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and she also got Best Actress. Then one of the songs that she did got nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song, and after all of that, she said she found the filming so emotionally draining that she did the ultimate and possibly the first ever mic drop, in that she gave that incredible performance and then walked away from acting and said she would never act again. It's a film that really affected me when I saw it and really surprised me because of her performance. And so in terms of answering this question, there's nobody else I can really compare it to, because I don't think this was an ego thing that she went into. And it's a very pure, very arresting performance. Highly, highly recommend it. Anyway, I hope you're well and can't wait till the cinemas open again so we can go and watch some movies. And if you've run out of movies to watch, you can always come and listen to my acting performance, which some may say is on a par with Bjork's in Dancer in the Dark. Others may not. You'll find that in the multi-award nominated podcast, Wrestling with the Champ. Good night, God bless, take care, have a great weekend, week, month, day, afternoon, depending on when you listen to it. You can edit that bit out. Love you.
Oh, thank you, Ant. That was lovely.
Nice. Good message.
Good pal of the pod, Ant. I agree. I think that is a fabulous performance. The only reason I didn't bring it to this season, because I have seen Dancer in the Dark. I'm guessing you have not.
No.
The only reason I've not brought it to the podcast is because it is depressing.
Right.
It is a very sad movie.
Right.
With a very upsetting ending.
Yeah.
And I think if we were to do it on this show, we'd like get to the point where it was like, let's pitch a sequel, and we both just be like, oh. Like it's a great film, and Ant is correct. Bjork's performance is astonishing. The music is amazing. I would definitely say listen to the soundtrack, but too depressing for this podcast. But an amazing, amazing performance, and Ant is absolutely correct. But yeah,
nice,
very, very good, and I agree completely. It is an amazing performance. So good shout. Who's next?
Okay, next we've got Joe Walsh.
Oh, from How to Survive Your 20s, I believe.
Hi, Harry and John. So there are two people that I want to recommend for this prestigious award of Best Musician in a Film. The first one would be Phil Collins, who's actually in Pan. He's only in it for like a couple of minutes, but he's the guy that, not Pan, sorry, Hook. He's the guy that they put in the boo-boo box and they put scorpions in. Very powerful performance there. And then the other guy, actually, because I guess in the last couple of years, is Justin Timberlake. He's kind of more established as an actor now, but in The Social Network, I thought he was actually very good in that. He played a very good, annoying business guy. So there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, no, I did consider bringing Justin Timberlake into this. In hindsight, I kind of wish I did, because I feel like both of my films were they kind of flopped in their own ways. I was always going to do both the films I picked.
Sure,
but yeah.
Well, we'll probably do this season again next year. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
And you can bring, Justin's done many a film. You can bring him in at another time if you want.
No, there's at least one of Justin's that's been on my list for quite a while.
Sure. Is it The Social Network?
No.
Okay.
Where are we going to go with that?
True. I don't know. Yeah, fine. Well, I'm open to it. Any more?
Yeah, we got one more. As always, we have the third Beatle calling in.
Oh, Louise Ball.
Hi guys. Very special happy birthday to John Paul Lucas. Happy birthday, old chum, old being the operative word. I'd like to give you my listener submission for Crossroads. So it's Crossroads 2, the road safety awareness video. It's literally just like a frame by frame road safety video going through what all of the things that they do wrong in Crossroads, because there's some pretty horrendous road safety in this film, which is quite misleading for its tween audience. I did, however, think Britney's acting held up. A little bit sad for me in light of the recent Free Britney documentary, but nevertheless I did enjoy the film. So thanks guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
You know what? I love the idea of Britney Spears just starring in a road safety, like an old school road safety video, where she's like doing the green cross code, but she's like, where, yeah. Yeah. Like,
yeah, no, I like it.
Stop, look, listen. Yeah. Like, I can see it. I can totally see that.
Yeah,
so.
No, I'd be on board with that.
Good shout, Louise. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
I had when I suggested this, I was like, you know what, Harry could go one or two ways, but I know Louise will have a lot of fun with this because she's like me. She's a child of the Britney era, you know. So yeah.
Great. Well, thank you to our Patreons for doing those call-ins. If you would like to do a call-in on a future episode, please do consider becoming a Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, should we go to regular listener submissions now?
Yes.
Our cheap-ass, non-paying listeners.
Bit harsh.
I'm joking. I love you all. Okay, so Adam Kushner said, How to Get Away with Crossroads, starring Kerry Washington, Viola Davis, and Britney Spears.
Nice.
That's obviously a riff on How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
Because that was also written by Shonda Rimes. So.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah. Sarah Pater said, It's a legal thriller in which Zoe Saldana's character is a boss-ass bitch lawyer who fights to get Lucy out of an involuntary conservatorship. So again, this is like Britney in real life being under the control of her manager dad. Tara Manning is the social worker assigned to her case. Dan Aykroyd returns as the controlling father, and Justin Long returns as his attorney. Kerry Washington cameos as the judge.
Nice.
So I'm guessing a lot of these sequel ideas are bringing in the Kerry Washington because she's like Shonda Rhimes, go-to actress.
Yeah,
so it's entering that Shonda Rhimes cinematic universe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Fanning said, Crossroads 2, Cross My Heart and Hope to Die. Britney is in love with death. Britney battles her way across an arid landscape of broken promises and broken dreams to break some heads. 89 minutes long and rated R.
Wow, Britney the goth years.
That sounds harsh.
I like this. Is her hair black?
It might. He hasn't specified, but maybe. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, what a time.
What a pitch. I like that a lot. Andy Nipper said Crossroads 2. Oops, she did it again.
Yeah, great.
This is funny. Auntie Kankipo said Crossroads 2, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
Do you know the song See You at the Crossroads, 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 See You at the Crossroads? You might know the Blazing Squad version? No. It's passed you by. Fine. It's a very famous song.
Was it in the music videos?
What?
Was it in the music videos?
It was in the music videos, yes. It came out after this song, yeah.
Oh, right,
after
cool.
this film. Britney Spears is stuck in a spooky cemetery and has to battle skeletons and other rough characters. And she has to do it using the power of song.
Great.
Trinity Johnson said Crossroads 2, Dead End.
Yep.
Over on Twitter, at Craptaculous, great name, said, It's the Cross trilogy. In the first sequel, Brit and friends fight the midlife blahs by traveling the country and crashing boot camp gyms in CrossFit. 20 years later, the third sequel appears where Britney and friends sit in hotel lobbies with coffee and newspapers as they travel to Florida in Crosswords.
Nice.
And finally, at _Doynton, again, this is not a sequel pitch, but just an observation, said, I saw this in the cinema on my 10th birthday. It is one of my all-time awful favourite movies. I think the Blazing Squad should star in the sequel. Again, Blazing Squad Crossroads.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your thoughts on Crossroads. It's much appreciated. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave a 5-star review if you so wish. You can support us on Patreon for as much or as little as you think we're worth, and you'll get all the bonus features, including being part of our new live call-ins. You can find all those links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, Harry...
Yes? Can I help you?
And next week, Harry, it's my pick. We're going back to 3 picks.
Okay.
We're going back to just random choices.
Yep.
So I've decided, at least for the next few months...
Yep.
I can't promise I'll stick to this for very long, but... Based on your, I've said before, you did ask me at the end.
Yeah, we got it. You didn't
not
do
bad films. So I'm going to try and just rattle through some of my very favourite films that I think could have a good sequel. With that in mind, I'm going to pitch for next week that we're going to do a film that I really like. It's one of my favourites. I hope you like it too. We'll see. Called You Can Count on Me. Okay.
I have not seen this. Do I know it?
I don't think you will. It's from the director of Manchester by the Sea.
Okay,
but
that is not a screaming endorsement.
It's not that depressing. It's not that depressing. It stars an actor who's very big in the MCU, which might help you.
Okay,
I think you'll like it. It's not as sad as Manchester by the Sea. It's really not. It's really not. It's a lot more nuanced than that. Okay, we'll see. I think it has an ending that suits a good sequel. I'll say that. So yeah. So we'll see how you feel. But next week, a classic Oscar-nominated film called You Can Count on Me.
Brilliant.
Cool.
I like it. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and happy birthday, John.
Oh, thank you.
I used to think I had the answers to everything, but now I know that life doesn't always go my way. It feels like I'm caught in the middle, and that's when I realize that I'm not a girl. I'm not yet a woman. All I need is time, just a moment that's mine. And while I'm in between, I'm not a girl.
I liked it.